Okay, how's everybody doing? Yeah, so this is another wonderful day to test the FSD beta. So now I'm gonna go from Falls Church to Georgetown. It's been performing pretty well so far. I'm just waiting on that next update for that. What is it? I don't even know the update number. 10.8.1. Yeah, so the next update seems to be going to some users, so I'm pretty excited for that. General things I've been noticing, again, 10.8 is just above average, and average being other betas. I think some of the behaviors I noted was, the inability to do U-turns, which isn't really a big deal, because it's the way it handles roads without being able to do U-turns is pretty, I think it's in line with the way it should, which is, and if you need to make a left U-turn, you enter the area that lets you kind of box it out. Okay, so there I had to just accelerate a little bit because it was going too slow, and I had to take over because it was going in the other side of traffic. So it might have handled that, probably, but again, why create the awkwardness? There's drivers there, so the best thing to do is to take control of that one, and I think I would just send that to Tesla. Okay, here's another one. Yeah, look at this maneuver here. Okay. Yeah. So aside from that awkwardness back there where I had to take over, it's going okay so far. Yeah, this one's a little weird too. Yeah, so what it's doing right now is not correct, but I'm guessing it's on here because there's a patch of ice on the right. But it entered the left lane, and even though the right lane was the turn only lane, but like I said, I see patches of ice, so maybe it was just being precautious. It also says on the screen that FSD is degraded due to or it says FSD may be degraded due to poor weather, so it's poor weather detected, so at least it can detect poor weather and react appropriately, which when I say react, I don't really see any difference in activity. Car's driving pretty well so far, aside from the flubs, the two flubs back there. But like I said, I don't see this right now as a, I'm gonna go fall asleep while the car drives, or I'm gonna let this be my robo taxi. I see this more as an aid to take the stress out of driving, similar to what traditional autopilot is on the highway, or navigator on autopilot is on the highway, right? Take your mind a little bit away from the stress of driving, stopping, blah blah blah. Even though that last, that first takeover that I had to take looked pretty aggressive. Like I said, I have a feeling it would have stopped, reoriented itself, because it's been very good about that. But I don't even have time to deal with other drivers in regards to that, right? So it was super awkward. Imagine being the driver and you see this car pulling up in front of you. Your inclination is to either get out of the way or be concerned, panic. So yeah, so I just didn't have time for that, so I just took over. But so far so good. I guess some other awkwardness I noted earlier. I was driving and instead of making a U-turn, sorry, instead of doing one of his box, you know, whatever box route it's set up to mitigate a U-turn, I just made the U-turn. The two paths were parallel to each other. I guess the beta thought I was going in the non-U-turn path and started doing some crazy driving. That was a little concerning, right? Even though it was seeing the routes, right? You could see the roads, but it started acting like it was on the navigate route. So that was pretty, I guess, interesting and concerning at the same time. Okay, here's another one. I need to make a left turn. I can see already that it's going to be hard for me to enter to make a left because of the current traffic situation. What? That wasn't too bad at all. So beta let everyone just get in front of me, and okay, acceptable. I mean, I would have entered earlier on, but not bad. Okay. Okay. The auto wipers you know, I've been a Tesla owner for like since 2018, right? The auto wipers has gone through this like massive evolution that continues to amaze me, right? Initially, you know, I got a Tesla when Elon said, what did he say? He said they're switching the wipers to computer vision based wipers, and so first he said that, then he said they're doing a deep rain network is what they called it, right? Deep rain, where every time the user initiated the wipers, it would, you know, label and create a label, right? So that, or create a trigger for Tesla to update their vision network for the wiper system. When they started with that product, it sucked. It was so ineffective. Like, I had to run my windshield wipers for a while. Then over time, it just got better to where we are today. It just works pretty well, actually. Now, to compare this to traditional, you know, other cars and their systems, I'm not sure. I think the only takeaway is that Tesla found a way to save money by not having to buy an additional piece of hardware to sense the rain, but more rely on their camera system to detect rain. I wonder, though, personally, which cameras they're using, because I think that, yeah, I wonder in general. Like, I wonder if they're mixing, you know, so when I run the camera, it's raining right now. Interesting. Yeah, so I can tell it's raining on all the other cameras. Yeah, I just wonder what cameras they'll be using, right? Because obviously you're looking for indications of rain. If it's raining on the windshield, for sure, right, you have something to be able to label there. The other cameras could help with that a little bit. So maybe if you like create conditions to see if it's raining on all cameras, then it's raining outside. And then the intensity, that's the piece I think that'll be hardest, the intensity. So like knowing when to increase versus decrease the wipers. That's all speculation, so please no one take those words for a fact. Yeah, but even in the rain, it's still pretty beautiful in this area. I think, so being in the East Coast, right, so DC, Maryland, Virginia, usually when it snows, it's like just creates this mass chaos, right, because it doesn't snow all the time. And it's been a pretty chaotic week. I think maybe most have heard about the people stuck on the highway for 20 hours or whatever. I could see that happening, especially if the roads aren't taken care of. And I think it happened mostly in Virginia, but luckily I didn't get any of that action. But I feel bad for those who sat in there, because being in traffic for 20 hours, I don't think it's a fun activity. I think being in traffic on autopilot for 20 hours also isn't fun. For anybody, I just feel bad for those families having to deal with that. I think I heard of stories of kids. This is interesting. Ooh. Yeah, so everything's good. It's riding pretty well. But yeah, I heard stories of kids and families being cold and having to ask other drivers for blankets and stuff. So it just reminded me that things like that happen, and maybe I should have some blankets in the car for my son, my wife, if we ever end up in a situation like that. But again, how often does it snow out here? It snowed twice so far, and I'm thinking that might be it, but again, nothing surprises me anymore. So we might see some snow maybe in December. Which I think is pretty smooth. Like I said, it's raining outside and I'm able to just kind of relax. You know, after a workout, just chill and observe, you know, our future. I ordered a pizza from a really good pizza spot. If any of you end up in DC, Pizza Paradiso, it's the highest quality pizza I've ever had. And I've been traveling all over the world for the last for some time now, and I've been very intentional about eating pizza in different places. So let's say around the United States, actually, mostly. And Pizza Paradiso is up there. Another one, yeah, it's up there in my pizza list. Yeah, the other thing, I mean, just looking at how this system is handling lights. Look at this. This is just amazing, right? Like, it's able to associate the light with the lane, right? Without too much confusion. I haven't seen any situation of confusion, but I know that there are lights that could be confusing in certain areas. Look at this. So slow down on its own. Every time I'm driving this car, I just want to like start shedding a tear, because this is like a future that I never ever thought we will. I couldn't visualize this. I just knew it was coming, but I didn't know when. And it looks like we're close. I'm also monitoring Mobileye. autonomous vehicle, solution set for other manufacturers. They seem to have a very performant. They seem to have a performant autonomous vehicle system. I think what I question with Mobileye is the overhead of their performance, right? So they claim a redundant deployment of autonomous vehicle hardware. I think they also segment their model between robotaxi and then consumer autonomous vehicles, and they claim it's different, right? They claim, well, I like how they structure it, right? So they say, Mobileye says the robotaxi problem set is a little bit different because it's segmented by its geofence right now, and they said they have vehicles currently deployed that are operating effectively in that geofence deployment model. They also said that the consumer variant of autonomous vehicles also has a robotaxi component where the consumer vehicle could be given to an operator to manage. I thought that was very interesting, right? Because what I noticed, but let's call it 2 years ago, Tesla was, talking about this robotaxi model, and you heard not a single peep from anybody else in regards to this consumer robotaxi, right, combined model like what they provided. And hearing about Mobileye's, let's say, consumer robotaxi deployment model is exciting, because this is where competition gets started, right? And I think competition forces a lot of things, right? It forces more price competitive landscape, and it seems to force innovation, right? Because again, I think if Elon and team did not present, this, I guess let's call it too early, this robotaxi vision, I am confident in saying that companies like Mobileye, GM Cruise, all of those other companies would not have accelerated their roadmaps to the extent that they are right now. And I'm assessing this acceleration of roadmaps because of CES, right? So I will tell you, GM said that they plan to have level 4. I can't remember, it's either 23 or 24, which is, again, level 4 at the consumer facing level in a premium vehicle. And Mobileye said they're targeting early 24 or some type of a prototype in 24, but mass deployment in 25 of a consumer level 4 autonomous vehicle. Tesla said they should be ready by 22, right? Which probably means 23. But like I said, I think we have to monitor the competitive space and see what's in the realm of possible, right? So I think watching this problem set, what I think people who invest should look at is really academia, because what's increasingly evident is that everybody's computer vision or autonomous vehicle approach evolves based upon like new techniques that are discovered in academia for the most part. I think companies do R&D internally, 100% agree, but academia for the most part seems to be the catalyst for this type of change, this positive change we're seeing in autonomous vehicles. And when I say academia, all it takes is like, one set of research or one dissertation or one thesis that might, accelerate the landscape in very interesting ways. So I had to take over there because I was trying to make this, and in fact, I'm going to take over and go all the way to the right because I don't want to play the game of back and forth. But the vehicle was trying to go to the left lane, so I didn't even want to give it an opportunity to fail. I just took over, which I think is the right thing to do. But yeah, so you have to watch academia and you have to watch the private sector, right? But the thing about the private sector is they're going to try to keep it close. And academia might do that also, but for the most part, you tend to see, let's say, discussions, right? Because they, you know, this notion of peer-reviewed papers is what enables this open source, open discussion that you see in academia. So, and here we go. So because of the rain, it's hard for beta to tell the lane lines, but it's still doing actuation as it's supposed to do. It's detecting people, like it's showing you that, but it's not showing you like the colored lines and all that stuff, which I think is interesting, that it would switch to this autopilot-like view, but still be performant in regards to control. But yeah, but the landscape of autonomous vehicles is changing, and I'm excited to see what is next. As evident with what's happening with my vehicle right now. I don't even know what level my vehicle should be characterized at, and I don't really care, to be upfront with you. So what happened there? I don't think the vehicle knew that because of the graded state, right, it reverted back to autopilot regular. So I don't think it saw that it had to make that type of a right turn, and I just took over to mitigate risk. Okay, well, thank you all for joining me in this drive. I kind of had several discussions, but I wanted to share with you some thoughts that I've been having in this discussion of autonomy. Yeah, I hope you found it interesting. And yeah, hopefully you got to see some performance characteristics of FSD beta. Like I said, it's not the best yet, but it's getting there. It's getting there, and I'll be interested to see how 10.8.1 does in these areas. Okay, thank you again, and have a wonderful day. Bye.